By the time the Beatles finally broke up, Paul McCartney and John Lennon were learning that sometimes it was best to just agree to disagree. For the good of the band, a lot of arguments were simply left untouched, and the pair would often have to grimace their way through recording sessions and hope that an opportunity to moan about the other would come up further down the line. In fact, Lennon famously slated McCartney's masterpiece Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, describing the concept album as just a bunch of songs. But at the end of the day, learning to co-parent the Beatles was what continued to make them great during their periods of innovation. They knew their yin and yang artistic approaches made them the perfect pairing, and Lennon and McCartney counterbalanced each other's lightness and darkness while overlapping at crucial musical moments. It's what made them one of the greatest bands of all time. For the most part, keen Beatles fans can tell whose song is whose. There's a fundamental sweetness to McCartney's melody writing that's really easily identifiable, while Lennon's songwriting is introspective, giving the Beatles their more surrealist edge. But what about the songs that exist in the overlap? A song like In My Life, which feels part Macca and part Lennon. Well, that's a little bit of a sore subject for the pair. As I recall, he didn't have a tune to it, McCartney claimed. I said, well, you haven't got a tune, let me just go and work on it. And I went down to the half landing where John had a mellotron, and I sat there and put together a tune. I recall writing the whole melody, and it actually does sound very like me if you analyse it. Now, McCartney is right, there's very much a Paulness to the melody that floats through the ether, but then the lyrics do feel inherently Lennon. Was this a rare song that both Lennon and McCartney worked on in equal parts towards the end of the Beatles? Well, according to Lennon, not quite. He said, Paul helped me with the middle eight. I wrote that in Kenwood. I used to write upstairs where I had about 10 Brunel tape recorders all linked up. I still have them. I've mastered them over the period of a year or two. I could never make a rock and roll record, but I could make some far out stuff on it. I wrote it upstairs. That was one where I wrote the lyrics first and then sang it. Ultimately, what we do know is that there was clearly some cooperation on the melody, but this disagreement over the track's finer details foreshadowed the wider problems that lay ahead for the Beatles.